Well, hello there, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. This is Rhonda. I want to talk to you today about memberships and specifically about recurring revenue. It is one of the number one things that I get asked by practitioners every single week as a goal when I'm doing interviews for Clinical Business Academy. Someone will tell me, I want to create recurring revenue. Now, ideally, yes, we all want recurring revenue, and this is an important part of growing a sustainable business model. But how you create that recurring revenue within the structure of your business is the next question. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I want to share with you some ideas for creating reliable recurring revenue sources for yourself. And I want to just give you some pros and cons that you may want to consider before taking on that big challenge, because it's a big job to do that. But let's just kind of talk through this a little bit. So recurring revenue is often in the form of a membership. Okay, a membership can be anything. It could be a membership that's around, a type of exercise that you like. It could be a meditation membership. It could be where you're providing some kind of information and it's on a consistent basis. So you're sharing that information weekly or you're sharing that information monthly. What I want you to think about as it has to do with something that someone will pay you for on a monthly basis, because that's recurring revenue model, right? What is it that you can provide that answers the following questions? This is going to help you be able to determine what you can do to create that revenue. Number one, does it save someone time? Does it save them time? Does it save them money? Or does it make any life easier for them? So one of those three things people will pay you for. I go pay to have my car washed because it saves me time. It doesn't save me money because, I could do it on a Saturday if I wanted to, but I don't want to take my time on a Saturday. So I'm happy to pay because it saves me time and my car is clean. Does what you're doing save them money? And I'm going to talk about a couple great ideas that I want to share with you. I'll talk about those in a minute, about something that will save money. And then does it make life easier for them? And this is a key one that you want to consider when you're thinking about the opportunity for you to do this in the area that you work, specifically in this space of alternative or wellness or functional medicine, because you are going to help them be able to solve a problem, right? The problem is they don't know how to eat. The problem is they don't know how to exercise. The problem is they don't have good energy. Whatever it is, you will know what those key problems are that your ideal patient faces. Those are things that you could potentially create a membership around. Think about it too, like let's say a group detox. If you did that like once a quarter, kind of like a membership. In other words, it's a source of recurring revenue for you. So let's say you do it once a quarter and you offer it. Well, that's going to provide you recurring revenue 4 times a year. So it doesn't have to be weekly recurring revenue or monthly recurring revenue. It just be recurring revenue when you do it. You might have some kind of a membership that's around like a concierge service, where you really go over and above to meet the needs of a demographic in your practice that maybe has a little bit more financial affluence. They're happy to pay a little extra money for some more TLC. You're making their life easier. You're saving them time. And probably one more thing I would add to that is there's always the ego factor, the status factor. And when people want status, they're willing to pay for it. If you can create something that gives people the sense of status, or like they want to wear the badge that says, I have a Louis Vuitton bag, or I have these kind of shoes, or I drive this kind of car, I wear these kinds of jeans. That's all status. It's a signal to the general public that I am important, or I have the ability to wear these types of clothes or have these types of things. I know that sounds all vain, but it's just our psychology. It's just how we work. It's just how we roll, whether we like it or not. So you could do a membership around that. You could do something about, you could have a membership that's around solving a problem in your community, even that maybe you live in an area where there's a lot of heavy metals. I'll use that as an example. Maybe you want to create like a little community membership where people can come and learn about how to, let's say, detoxify from heavy metals. There are a million things that you could create a membership around. So you kind of want to think about those 3 things. And then I added the 4th one about status. So how can you save someone, preferably your ideal patient, time? How do you save them money? How do you solve a problem? And can you give them the feeling of status or importance, value, like that concierge membership? So those membership or a way to create recurring revenue is where somebody's pay you money in exchange for you meeting one of those 3 or 4 needs. Now, when it solves their problem, when it saves them time, saves them money, that positions you as a leader. You now become the leader. They're like, oh, Dr. So and so, or this person, that person, they really know what they're doing. I think we need to be listening to them. It really puts you in a place of being an authority or a leader in your area of expertise. So there's lots of great things that come with having a membership besides the recurring revenue. So you have now more credibility, you're established as a leader, you've got, money coming in, it builds community, you have people that are talking about you, talking about your practice, etc. There's a few cons though, and I want to be honest about that. The cons are you have to maintain it unless you're going to do like a course. And that's the one that I'm going to talk about here in a minute. But you have to maintain it. So if it's like monthly content, you have to take time to maintain it. Let's say if you're doing it around exercise, that means that every month you got to come up with new stretching exercises to share with your people in your membership. Or you have to come up with new recipes if you're going to create a recipe membership or a new meal plan or whatever it might be. But you have to create new content. One of the other cons is whether it's a course or a membership, but somewhere where you're getting revenue coming in that's not, hands-on work, right? Not one-on-one, face-to-face kind of in-person work, is that it does take time and thought to build it. You have to know that it's something for sure that your ideal audience is really going to want. How do you know? You ask them. You say, hey, I'm thinking about creating a monthly membership, or I'm thinking about creating a recipe club. Bad idea. Don't use that. But you get recipes or meal plans or paleo or whatever it is. I'm thinking about doing that. Would you ever be interested in something like that? Is that something that would save you time or solve a problem for you? You can just ask your patients directly. They'll tell you. They will tell you. And if they say, I don't think so, then scrap it. It's not a failure on your part. You didn't do anything. You want to prove the idea first before you go do it. Because if you just spend all this time, I've done it myself and I've seen it done so many times. You spend all this time creating something, you think, oh, it's going to be great. I know they're going to love it. And then crickets. It's because you built something that you wanted, not what they wanted. And there's a big difference between the two. So also when you have something like this, you have to know how to launch it or how to talk about it, how to get the word out. And that can require a little bit of tech. It kind of requires that you get over yourself. Yeah. You got to get over yourself and just start talking about it. Because remember, the goal is to have it save time, save them money, help them solve a problem, or give them a sense of status. So you want to make sure that you're able to talk about it. And for most people, most of us, it just means you just got to get over yourself. Stop making it about you and make it about them, because we're here to serve. We're not here to sell. We're here to serve. And then you want to make sure that you've got like the time to support it. So if you have a really busy practice, let's say you're working 40 hours a week on just the practice seeing patients, and then you've got another 10 hours a week or more that you're working on the business, doing payroll or banks or bank account statements, and you're doing emails and correspondence and managing your staff or whatever, is it reasonable that you can really fit this in? You might be able to create a course for a little while until that's done, but memberships are a little bit more of a challenge because they do require some upkeep. So you just want to kind of keep that in mind. So as I mentioned, you want to survey your audience first. Don't forget about that. It's really important. Hey, I'm thinking about, and then let them give you some feedback. You can put it on social media. You can send it out in an email. Just think about what problem do they have that needs to be solved? How can you swoop in, be the hero, and help them solve that problem? So now, membership model versus a course. You all know what memberships are. Membership is easy. I have a Clinical Academy membership. It's $99 a month at the time of this recording. And it is just kind of like a Netflix of clinical protocols and clinical training. You just go find what you want to watch and you watch it. Now, it took me a lot of time to create all this content, create the PowerPoints and edit them and put them in there and create the resources. There are tens of thousands of hours that I have put into Clinical Academy. But it's good. The info is good and it solves the problem. It saves clinicians time, it saves them money, and it helps solve the problem. So it ticks off all three of those boxes. Doesn't necessarily give status, but I'm not here to do status things. So that membership does check all those boxes. However, it does require monthly maintenance on our part. So myself and my team, there's always work that we have to do every month to make sure that it goes off without a hitch. Now, a course, on the other hand, and this is where I want to divert a little bit. The course, on the other hand, can be a really good fit for many practices. And let me give you my best, I think this is best in class idea. Are you ready? This idea for a course is one that is, I would say, meets multiple needs on multiple levels. And let me tell you what that is. Let's say you have a patient that calls in and they are maybe brand new to functional medicine. They're just not really sure. They're like, I don't know. Is this right for me? I've heard weird things about these people. They do weird stuff, blah, blah, blah. And they're just not sure. They call and they talk to you or they talk to your front desk, and front desk gives them the information and says, the new patient appointment's going to be, $350 or $500 or whatever it is. And the patient goes, I can't afford that. So thank you very much. But they really need the help, right? They need their problem solved. But they don't have the financial resource to pay you that initial visit and then pay for follow-up visits and then pay for the supplements. If they balk at the cost of the first visit, it's not going to be a good fit for them. So what we want to do is there a way to create something that's a little less expensive, but still helps them solve their problem? And this is where I think wellness practitioners are perfectly poised to do that. And that is like a starter course. That's always kind of the term that I give it. I wouldn't call it that, but a starter course. So let me give you an example. Let's say your specialty is thyroid. Maybe it's Hashimoto's. So now you know that women come to you that have Hashimoto's and you have great success getting them. But it takes you about 6 to 9 months to really get them feeling like themselves again. Well, somebody can't afford to work with you right away. So what option can you give them? Do you just say, sorry, bye, let me know when you have the money? Oh no, that is missed opportunity. No. We don't want to do that. We want to capture that opportunity. If you had a starter course that wasn't $350 or $500 or whatever your new patient price is, maybe it was only $99. Maybe it was $149. Maybe it was $79. And in that little starter course, you have the basic things that patient new to functional medicine, or maybe they're just financially, they just can't. But what are the things that you can put in there that they can do on their own? What are those things, right? What are the things that they can do that will help move the needle for them and get them results quicker, faster? They can start moving down the road, right? They can start getting better. So you may want to talk about how gluten affects Hashimoto's and how dairy is one of the players. And you may want to talk about stealth pathogens, and you may want to recommend a few over-the-counter things, or maybe you put a link in there to your full script and say, listen, if you want to get started, here's what I would recommend. And just put a link in there to a full script product and let them do it on their own. Let me tell you, that builds so much goodwill, because they will likely, if you design it well, they'll likely make progress. They're going to start feeling better. And they maybe take the grain out. All of a sudden, they feel better. And then they take the dairy out and they feel better. And then they get whatever product you recommend on full script and they start feeling better. If that starts to happen, this starter course isn't designed to help them solve every problem with Hashimoto's. That's not the goal. What we want to do is give them bite-sized small pieces that they can do on their own. And that allows them to make progress, see the results, and have a great experience with something that you created. In other words, it's your voice, you're talking about it, you're recommending it, you're talking to them in these videos that you'll put in your course, just like you would be talking to them in person, just like I'm talking to you now. It's just a conversation. That's all we're doing, is having a conversation on a video. That's all. And so when you put that together in like a little starter course, and again, don't call it that. You can call it whatever you want. When we put that together in a starter course, now you've solved a problem. Their problem was they couldn't afford to work with you. Your solution is, hey, I've got something that's going to help you. If that doesn't work and you're not able to start working directly with me, let me recommend this to you. Now, they can say no, and that's perfectly okay too. But at least you have something that's an intermediate. And as they start getting results, they're not going to get over it all the way because that's what requires your expertise, right? So they'll start getting results and then they'll get to the end. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling so much better. And this was so valuable. I really do want to work with Dr. Smith. And then they'll call you back and say, hey, I finished the starter course and I'm ready to make an appointment. And now all of a sudden priorities start to change and they're willing to allocate that money in order to get better. So you want to give something in this recurring revenue conversation that allows you to meet people where they're at. You can put a link to this on your website if you want. You can just talk about it when you get on the phone with them if they can't afford it. You can put it on your social media. There's lots of ways that you can do this without even doing some big monster huge launch per se. But very easily, you can put this out there and let people know that you have it. Sometimes people just are nervous. They just get nervous about working with someone that they don't know and paying a whole bunch of money because there's a lot of practitioners out there that don't know what they're doing and they just charge a lot of money, get a whole bunch, $5,000 worth of tests, and then say, oh, well, it looks like you have mold. Well, okay, I could have told you that because I live in a moldy house. Why'd I have to spend $5,000 on a bunch of tests for you to tell me I have mold when I live in a moldy house? That's what's out there in the functional medicine world. And you know how I feel about this. I am not a fan. I am a functional medicine practitioner and I hate functional medicine. The concept around how it's delivered, I don't like. I like the concept. I just don't like the delivery. So what we're going to do here with this recurring revenue conversation is just do it a little differently. We're going to create something that solves a problem, probably saves them time because they're going to struggle on Dr. Google finding every kind of try this, and it's going to save them money because now they're not out buying stuff that isn't going to work because they're just shooting into a BB gun into a field, hoping that you're going to hit something. That's not going to work. We know this, right? It's a very strategic way to get the body better. And that's what you can provide in this starter course. You don't give away the farm. You don't give it all away because if you do, then why would they want to work with you? That's dumb. What we want to do is give them enough that they can make some progress, see that you know exactly what you're talking about. And then they're like, yep, okay, I'm ready to come in and work with Dr. Smith because he knows what he's doing. So if you're not sure, if you think, okay, that all sounds really good, Rhonda, but I don't even know where I would start. This is what I would do. If I were you and I was really stuck, you know the type of person that you like to work with, right? You know that you may really love working with someone who's, overweight. Maybe weight is your thing. Or maybe it is thyroid. Or you really love working with women in their 40s. Go to ChatGPT, and I have a love-hate relationship with AI. I probably have more of a hate relationship with them. But in this case, it can be really helpful. So if you just go to ChatGPT and you just type in who you serve, I need help coming up with ideas or challenges that my ideal patient might be facing. My ideal patient is a woman in her 40s. She's got 2 kids. She is working or not working, whatever you describe your demographic, your ideal patient. Just describe it to ChatGPT. Just say, please provide me 10 primary challenges that thy ideal patient may be facing, even something that they don't realize is a challenge, something that's impeding their process, something that's not allowing them to live life to its fullest, something that they may not even realize how much this is impacting them. And just see what ChatGPT comes up with. It may come up with something and you go, oh my gosh, that's it. That's exactly the problem I want to solve. Great. Then just create a little 3-module course, small little thing, and just start working away at it. You can outline your course. You decide what information you want to put in it. And again, don't give away the farm because the goal is not for them to do it themselves. The goal is to have them work with you so that you can really get in and fix the problem. But for someone who just needs a little bit of reassurance in the beginning or they can't afford it, it's a great way to create some recurring revenue coming in and you build it once and then you don't ever have to touch it again. That's the point of a recurring revenue model. So whether you choose a membership, which requires some upkeep, you have hosting that you have to do, it's got to live somewhere, and that would be true for a course as well. Or you want to just do a one and done kind of a course. I actually think the course is a little easier, and you can do both. I mean, you could do a group challenge 2 or 3 or 4 times a year, and you could have your little starter course. But there are ways that you can create that recurring revenue that does not involve you, but that is going to require that you're either putting out resources like recipes or a meal plan. Women love that stuff. Young moms, if you serve like young mothers, oh my gosh, will they pay for that? Because they just need somebody to tell them, go to the grocery store, get these things. And then here's the recipes that go with these ingredients. You've saved them so much time. You have solved a problem for them. You may not be saving them money, but they will pay money to get this problem solved because it saves them time. Are you following me? Does this make sense? So recurring revenue, I am a huge fan, but I wanted to talk about, I love this whole starter course idea, and I'm not opposed to a membership one. You just have to know what you're getting into when you do that. It might take you a year, 6 months to create this membership or this starter course. That's okay. Just start. Just think, okay, what problem am I going to solve? And then start asking your audience, is this something that you might be interested in? I'm thinking about blank. Just state it like that. I'm thinking about blank. Would that be interesting to you or not? And if they say, no, I don't know, I'm pretty good. Like I just go online and find my recipes. I don't think so. And if you get that same answer from quite a few people, then you go, okay, bad idea. Move on. Find another idea. Go back to ChatGPT. But there are very good ways that you can create that passive revenue coming in. Once you've proved your concept and you have a winning idea and you know now that people are willing to pay for it, now you can go in and start to do a little bit more of a larger scale launch. And that means that you're launching it to your whole email list, or you're maybe running some ads to it or something like that. So that's how you're going to leverage that. But everybody always wants to go big or go home. It doesn't work like that when we're talking about recurring revenue. You have to have a product that you know someone wants and then test it out, tweak it, refine it, get the price right, all those things. Once you do, then now you got the product. Now you know it's right and people want it. Now you can go put it out there to a larger audience, and then you can really start to scale your revenue. So I just wanted to kind of encourage you. Like, I really love this idea, but I also wanted to be honest with you that it's not something that you're going to wake up one morning and go, oh, I think that I'm going to just do a membership now. It doesn't work that way. You got to really think this one through and make sure that you have a winning idea. So there you go, friends. If you would like more information, you can always email me at support@rondanelson.com. There's more business strategy ideas inside Clinical Business Academy as well. That's rondanelson.com/CBA. All right, friends, take care. Have an amazing week. Go make some people feel incredibly well and start asking them what they might be interested in, because I know you got it in you. I know you do. I believe in you. All right. See you next week.